Down at the video store, we were ghosts on a Friday night, passing in rewind and fast forward life.
So the BAFTAs, you're watching Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo on stage, the room is buzzing, and then you hear it, the N-word, loud, clear, horrific, the kind of word that instantly makes the air change, and in the seconds after, you could feel two truths colliding in real time. Truth number one, that word carries trauma, full stop. If you're black, if you've been on the receiving end of it, if you've watched your people be reduced to that syllable, there is nothing casual about hearing it in a room like that on a global broadcast. Truth number two, the man who shouted it, John Davidson, lives with severe Tourette syndrome, and part of his condition includes involuntary vocal tics that can pull out the most taboo, socially explosive words possible, not as a confession, not as a mask slipping, not as a joke, as a symptom. And here's the thing that makes the whole situation so ugly. You can hold both truths at once. You can say that harmed people and also say that wasn't intentional. You can want better protection for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo and still refuse to turn a disabled man into the villain of the night. Now, if you haven't seen I Swear, the backlash probably looks simple. Guy yells a racist slur, therefore guy is racist. End of story. Social media loves a clean ending. A hero, a villain, a dog pile. But I Swear is literally a film about how messy, painful and misunderstood this condition can be.
Slut! What did you say?
It's about the way people project meaning onto involuntary tics and how quickly society decides you're dangerous, disgusting, or not welcome in public spaces. And the most depressing part, we're celebrating a movie that exists to raise awareness. The reaction online proved the movie's point faster than any review ever could. So let's talk about the film itself, because it's honestly one of the most affecting biopics I've seen in a long time. I Swear tells the true story of John Davidson, a Scottish man living with severe Tourette syndrome, growing up in a world that doesn't have the language for what he's experiencing and doesn't have the patience to learn it. The movie doesn't treat Tourette's like a quirky character trait. It treats it like what it is for a lot of people: exhausting, humiliating, unpredictable, and deeply isolating. The tone is what surprised me most. It's heartbreaking, yeah, but it's also genuinely funny in places, and not in a cheap laugh at him way. It's more like the film understands that sometimes the only way you survive something relentless is by finding the absurdity inside it. You laugh or you break.
Fucking shite!
Robert Aramayo is the reason this movie works as well as it does. This is one of those performances where you stop seeing an actor doing a condition and you start seeing a person. The physicality is intense, but it's the emotional rhythm underneath that got me. You see the anticipation before a tic hits. You see the panic when he's around strangers. You see the split-second decision to try to minimize himself so other people won't make it worse. And the film keeps coming back to this brutal idea. Tourette's isn't only the tics, it's the reaction, it's the stare, it's the flinch, it's the laugh you didn't ask for, it's the teacher who punishes you for something you can't control, it's the stranger who thinks you're being rude, it's the friend who slowly stops inviting you out because you're a lot to deal with. One of the smartest choices I Swear makes is showing how Tourette's can get tangled up with anxiety and obsessive thought loops. John doesn't just tic, he apologizes constantly, like he's trying to pay a debt for existing. You can read that as politeness, but the film frames it as survival.
If you do anything you can't help, you never ever have to apologise for it.
If the world treats you like a problem, you start trying to pre-apologise for being yourself. You start bargaining for basic tolerance. I'm sorry becomes a shield you hold up before anyone can swing. There's a moment in the film where someone finally tells him, basically, stop apologising to people who refuse to understand you.
You don't need to apologise.
And it's such a simple line, but it lands like a brick. Not because apologising is wrong, but because the apology isn't being offered for something he did. It's being offered for something he is. That theme hit me hard, especially in the context of what happened at the BAFTAs. The internet was screaming for him to apologise. Even after he explained that it was involuntary, people wanted the ritual. the say the right words and maybe will allow you back into society moment. Here's what I took from the movie. Accountability still matters, but the target has to be right. If someone is harmed by a tic, their feelings matter, the hurt is real, but blaming a neurological symptom like it was a moral choice doesn't protect anybody. It just teaches disabled people that inclusion is conditional and it can be revoked the second your disability becomes inconvenient. And I swear it doesn't sugarcoat how inconvenient it can be. The film doesn't pretend that living with severe Tourette's is easy to be around. It shows how disruptive it is. It shows how exhausting it is for John himself. It shows how he can end up hurting people without meaning to, and how that reality comes with its own grief.
Chicken straw. Chicken's cock.
That nuance is what makes this movie special. It refuses to turn John into a saint. It refuses to turn everyone around him into monsters. Instead, it shows a community learning, slowly, imperfectly, sometimes late, how to treat a human being like a human being. Now, let's bring it back to the BAFTAs response, because this is where I think the conversation got twisted. A lot of people online jumped straight to he's racist. Some of that comes from not knowing what Tourette's is. Some of it comes from people knowing but refusing to accept that involuntary doesn't mean harmless. And some of it comes from the way pop culture has trained us to think Tourette's equals random swearing, like it's a comedy gag. In reality, coprolalia, the symptom where someone has involuntary, obscene or socially inappropriate words, is a minority experience within Tourette's. Most people with Tourette's don't have that. When someone does, it's not a truth serum, it's not no filter, it's not your hidden opinions slipping out, it's your brain misfiring with the exact kind of word your brain has been trained to treat as forbidden. And I can't stress this enough, the harm of the word and the non-intentional nature of the tic can both be real. That's why this situation needed careful handling, it needed preparation, it needed direct support for the presenters, it needed the broadcast to prioritise not amplifying that moment. From what we've learned since, BAFTA and the BBC both apologised and the BBC edited the moment out after the backlash. That helps, but it doesn't undo what the presenters experienced in the room, and it doesn't undo the fact that millions heard it at home.
Hey!
Delroy Lindo has said he wished someone from BAFTA had spoken to them afterwards, and honestly, that's the simplest fix in the world. You don't leave the people impacted hanging. You check in, you apologise, you take care of your guests. At the same time, turning around and saying John Davidson shouldn't have been allowed to attend the ceremony at all is a dangerous road. A film critic, Grace Randolph, even ran a poll asking how the BAFTAs should have handled him attending. Polls like that sound harmless on paper, but the implication is loud. Should disabled people be separated if their symptoms might upset the room? There's also been commentary suggesting Tourette's is basically no filter, and that if he said it, he must have meant it. That isn't just wrong, it's cruel. It takes a neurological disability and reframes it as a personality flaw. Jamie Foxx weighed in too, calling the moment unacceptable and then suggesting online that it was intentional. I get the anger. I also think that take reveals how little the industry and honestly a lot of the public understands about Tourette's beyond the stereotype.
Wrinkly bastard.
Now, to be clear, I'm not here to police anyone's feelings, especially the feelings of the people targeted by that word. If you're black and hearing the N-word in that room, you don't owe anybody a lesson. You don't owe anybody grace. The responsibility to handle this properly falls on the organisers and the broadcaster. So here's what I wish the headlines had focused on more. The institution failed everyone. They failed Jordan and Lindo by letting that word hit air on a delay with time to catch it. They failed the audience by not having a plan that balanced inclusion with harm reduction. They failed John Davidson by inviting him into a spotlight without building the kind of support structure that someone with severe Tourette's deserves in a high pressure environment. You want an honest conversation? It should be about protocols. If you're going to invite someone whose tics can include explosive language, you plan like adults, you brief the presenters privately, you offer options, not exile, you coordinate with broadcast standards, you use the delay properly, you set up a way for someone to step out instantly. If a tic spiral starts, you make sure the apology on stage centres the people harmed, not the optics. That's not exclusion, that's accessibility done with care.
Hey!
What is the matter with you, boy?
And this loops back to why I Swear hit me so hard. The film isn't asking for pity, it's asking for understanding, it's asking for the kind of empathy that doesn't vanish the second things get uncomfortable. The movie also made me realise how much I didn't actually know about Tourette's. I knew the basics: tics, motor and vocal, fluctuating severity. What I didn't fully understand is how much context can shape symptoms, stress can amplify them, attention can amplify them, shame can amplify them. So when someone is sitting in a room full of cameras, industry people and live pressure, it makes total sense that symptoms could spike. The film shows that cycle brilliantly. John anticipates judgment, the anticipation triggers anxiety, the anxiety ramps up the tics bring the judgment. It's a loop that feeds itself and you watch him fight it with every tool he has. And when the film finally lets him find people who respond with calm instead of fear, you can almost feel his nervous system unclench. It's one of the quiet triumphs of the story. Not a cure, not a miracle, just a little more safety. That's why Aramayo's performance deserves all the flowers. He isn't just acting outbursts, he's acting the inner math of someone constantly scanning the room, constantly measuring risk, constantly deciding whether to disappear or stay.
That I will tell the truth.
The whole truth?
No, I won't.
If you're looking for the filmmaking side, it's solid too. The cinematography keeps Scotland grounded and lived in, not postcard pretty. The score knows when to get out of the way. The pacing takes its time in the right places, especially when it's showing how lonely this experience can be.
I killed him. Mistakes.
I Swear isn't just a movie about Tourette's, it's a movie about stigma, about how quick people are to label you and how slow they are to learn you. So when I saw the post-BAFTAs discourse, it honestly made my stomach drop. People were calling John Davidson a racist, demanding he be banned, arguing he shouldn't be present, or treating his disability like a convenient excuse. That reaction is exactly what the film is warning about. At the same time, I also saw people trying to shut down any criticism by saying, well, it's Tourette's, so nobody can be upset. That doesn't sit right either. Hurt is hurt. The presenters shouldn't have to swallow that moment and move on like nothing happened. The answer isn't denial, it's structure, it's education, it's planning. If anything good came out of this mess, it's that Tourette's became a global topic overnight. Tons of people who'd never looked up the condition are suddenly reading, asking questions, and realising the stereotypes are shallow. That awareness won't fix everything. Some people will stay loud and wrong. Some people will learn slowly. Still, every person who watches I Swear now with a little more context, every person who stops assuming intent when they see a tic in public, every person who chooses curiosity over cruelty, that's a win.
Part-time slag.
I spunked on a jellyfish
You're a wanker.
today.